I know some folks are still getting some food, but I'll go ahead and get started. I know our council member is going to be joining us during the program at some point, so we'll go ahead and get started. And I know we have the illustrious leadership of our ANCs are here, some of which are actually going to speak tonight. So I want to thank, one, the leadership of the community, but also thank everybody for taking the time to come out tonight. My name is Greg Odell. I'm with Events DC. Events DC is the Convention and Sports Authority for the city. So our job is to operate a lot of the venues that either host conventions or meetings, or sports and entertainment, or special events throughout the city. Some of the notable projects or events or buildings that we have are like the Convention Center, RFK Stadium, Nats Park as well. But we are very excited for the opportunity to actually have a venue here in Ward 8 and Congressional Heights, or Congress Heights, as you know, for a long time coming to actually get this done. And so I want to walk quickly through the agenda, what we're going to discuss tonight, make sure that, one, we have plenty of time on the back end to answer a lot of questions. But as we said, we've been talking about this project for a while, and now we actually have a chance to see it under construction, and we'll give you some progress about where we stand with that project today. So quickly, I have already introduced myself. What I'll do in the interest of time is for those who come up and speak, allow them to introduce themselves as well. And then also, I'll first give a little bit of background just to remind everybody kind of what this project is, and for those who may be new, to give an overview of what the project is, and then we'll jump right into a construction update from our construction management team, Smoot Gilbane. And then also, we'll talk a little bit about the hiring and outreach as part of that process. And then we'll talk about also the community benefits agreement, that which we've had lots of participation from the community, and we're happy to report that that agreement's been done. And so we'll talk about the highlights of that as well, and also next steps. We also have leadership here from Monumental Sports, Randy Bowe, who also will talk about Monumental's, not only their role here of what they're doing on this project, but also going forward and how they're also going to engage the community as well. So if that sounds good to everybody, we'll jump right in with the arena and the update. So this is going to painfully make me pop up every single thing. So just to refresh everybody's memory, this is a combined facility that's going to be a sports, entertainment sports arena. So it's going to be a 4,200 seat arena. So the Mystics will play there. Also, I know Randy will talk more about it, but the G League team that just got announced is also going to play there. And then we'll also have an opportunity, since this is really a small but good-sized niche arena, to host lots of different events. So we'll host boxing matches here, we'll host some amateur sports here, some other basketball games, and anything else that we feel is appropriate that will be specific to this community, but also we'll market this venue for a venue in DC that people across the region will come and actually see some really good, great events here as well. I talked about the teams, obviously, but also the part of the building will also be exclusive training facility for the Washington Wizards. So our favorite stars like John Wall is going to be coming here whenever he wants to practice, to work on his game. He'll come to this facility all the time, which is a great benefit to have him in our community and practicing right here amongst all the other players and even the players that they're going to recruit in the future. So the key thing about a training facility is not only to make their athletes better, but it's also a recruiting tool now for them as they try to attract more players to come to the Washington Wizards as well. So when's it going to be completed? Very fast-moving project. You all have seen now that this project's coming out of the ground. So we actually are erecting steel as well. So in September, which is right around the corner in 2008, this project will be done, if all goes well, of course. So again, just to give you a couple of images to remind you, that's Oak Street in the front, but the project, again, is one combined facility, but it's actually two different purposes. So it's a training facility on the left, and then the arena on the right. And you can see, obviously, to give you orientation of where Cherry Street is, and then what will be 13th Street built in the back as round as well to the north. This gives you a sense, looking from the east or southeast to what will be the front of the building. This will be the main entrance that we've showed you before. This will also be retail. And so the way we've built this facility, even though it's not a very large facility, most arenas, as you all know, will have concessions. And so the concessions we built in a way that, at least on Oak Street, that there will also be some retail. So even when we don't have events going on in the building, we want to have retail there that the community will enjoy. And so that was part of the purpose of making sure we had some retail that would be available on non-event day as well. this gives you a sense of what that retail can look like. That Congress Heights Cafe is just a placeholder. We haven't named any cafe or figured out what that retail is going to be yet, but at least gives you a sense of what that retail can look like. And this just gives you another aerial view from the backside. So this shows you, obviously, the training facility and what will be the entrance to the training facility as well on the backside. And then there'll be loading dock entrance there as you go into the arena as well on the backside, which will be 13th Street. The thing that I will say is this project gets built. Right now it's showing in a future state what that street will look like, but as you all can probably imagine, right now it's under construction and there's not going to be a street there right now when we finish in September. But in the future, as the Deputy Mayor's Office for Planning and Economic Development is actually working on the entire site, you'll see all that infrastructure being built, and also you'll see as other projects in development occur. A point I'd also point out, the red buildings that you see right there, those are the existing buildings that are on the other side of Oak Street. So Red Brick, as you all have probably heard, is also working on a redevelopment project that they actually will bring those buildings to life as well. So I talked a little bit about this already, but I'll go through a little more detail. So all the regulatory approvals have been done for the project. And so for those who are familiar with the process in Washington, D.C., typically we don't only have to go through the local district regulatory process, we also have to involve some of the federal agencies as well. So a little harder process, but I'm happy to report that we got through all those processes. A gentleman had asked me, good question, do we have all our permits? So we actually have the foundation permit and the structural permit, and we'll see the full building permit. So we are permitted for the work we're doing now. As I talked about, we're doing superstructure right now. We'll get the full final building permit as we finish the rest of the work to complete on this project. I mentioned the office for the Deputy Mayor's Office for Planning and Economic Development. Ed Fisher, who is here with us, he's been the lead for the Deputy Mayor's Office. And so they're not only great partners for the arena project, but they are responsible for developing the entire campus. And so you'll see not only the red brick development that I spoke of, but there'll be other opportunities for how they'll actually put some development and bring some vitalization throughout the entire campus as well. We will have a ceremony that's now planned for January 11th. So typically when you finish what they call the topping off ceremony is when you erect the final steel for this building. You'll see we'll have a ceremony for which we'll invite everybody out to the project. It's just a good milestone that lets us know where we are in the project, and also be good momentum for everybody involved to make sure we push to get this thing finished and done by September as well. I already made mention about Monumental's involvement. I know Randy Bowe is going to come up and speak to you a little bit about it, and he can certainly talk about Capital City Go-Go, which I think may be of interest to a lot of folks here as well. So one other thing that we're focused on now, you know, it's one thing to work on all this effort to actually get this building built, but we also have to make sure that we're ready operationally come September. And so we'll have another team at Events DC and working with the mayor's office as well that's going to start working on all the things that were required to operate this building. So I want to make highlight to this, and we'll probably come back in our next community meeting and talk specifically about what the job and what the business opportunities are, because we're going to start putting out these solicitations on the street. And so as you all can imagine, we need somebody to operate the building from a food and beverage perspective. So we're going to put the food and beverage solicitation out on the street for bid. We'll also need somebody to provide the IT and telecom, you know, for all the internet and capabilities that we need for the building. So we're also going to put that out on the street as well. And then typically services like janitorial, and then also security or other things that we're going to bid. So I say this now that we want to make sure, and we'll put this on our website, ESA and the R.I.S E, that everyone can see those opportunities. So if anybody is interested in bidding on them, we want to make sure you're aware of that. And so I can't emphasize that enough, that we first want to make sure that local businesses are interested in bidding on it. And then the opportunity will be after that, once those businesses are on board, that we'll make sure that they set up an opportunity for hiring people as part of their firm. And so we want to make sure we focus on that and make sure we tell everybody when those things are happening and post on our website. And we'll also make sure we pass flyers around when we start to post these opportunities for people to bid on. Okay? So I'm going to hand it over now to our great team at Smoot-Gilbane to give an update on the construction. So please give a big round of applause for Jamon Smith, who's going to give an update now. Thank you.
Okay. Again, my name is Jamon Smith. I'm the construction executive for the project. we're just what sort of short synopsis. We started this job in July on the day we were supposed to start it. We're about 80% finished with, well, the contracts. I'll let other people get into that, but the steel is being erected. How do I do this one? Okay, all right. There we go. This is my bailiwick. All right. We started in July, concrete, July 5th. Day after the holiday, we started pouring concrete. Structural steel, I'm not sure what you can see from the street, but we're topping out. As Greg talked about, we'll be erecting the last piece of major structural steel January 18th. We missed that date. I'm gonna find another job, but we're right there. The skin, getting the building enclosed, we're targeting March. And then at that point, we'll be heavy into finishes. Most of our finished trades, so if we're talking about contractors and things like that, most of our finished trades will be at full capacity sometime in, around April. And we are on target to complete this job August 27th of 2018. We got sneakers on the court in September. Again, if I don't do that, I'll find another job. So as you're looking here, we've got a 300-ton crane out there, which is probably one of the bigger mobile cranes in the city right now. The trusses that we're going to be erecting are 120-foot trusses, 40-foot deep. Again, there's a picture of when we started in July, August, and do we have another picture, Daniel? No. This is probably the most current picture. Again, we're right on target. Opportunities are coming. We're running anywhere from 75 to 100 people on the job right now. That number will pick up once we get into the finished stages. Any questions? Nope? Good. All right.
This is my bailiwick. My name is Daniel, Senior Project Manager for the Smoot-Gilbane team on site. To talk about our procurements to date and how we're doing with our small business and... Hello. Oh, there it is. Okay. Can you hear me? All right. My name is Daniel with the Smoot-Gilbane team, Senior Project Manager for construction. Okay. To talk about our procurements and how we're performing with our small business and certified business enterprise goals on the project. To date, like the previous slide said, we're about 80% bought out, and of that, we're at right now tracking for 65% of CBEs. That means DC-based businesses are performing the work on the project. We also have, we had a goal of 50% on the project, and we're right now tracking for 65%, and we're exceeding the goal now, but we're not done. And so we intend to continue pursuing more opportunities for CBEs, including specifically in Ward 7 and Ward 8, where we are to continue to exceed the goal of 50%. We're at 42% right now of our 35% goal for small business enterprises. And again, we're tracking well above our goal, but we continue to pursue opportunities for small and local businesses on the project. Ward 7 and Ward 8 opportunities, again, we're exceeding our goal. We had an aspirational goal on the project of $5 million of work to be performed by Ward 7 and Ward 8 contractors. Early on, we brought in Ward 8 and Ward 7 subcontractors to perform the work, and as we've been buying out the job with various trades, and as work is being performed, we're bringing on more and providing more opportunities for neighborhood contractors who are right here in this, in Southeast. And so we're continuing to pursue those opportunities. You saw the previous slide that had some remaining work to complete or some procurements to do for Event CC. We've got a few more trades to buy out ourselves, and so we're actively pursuing those opportunities for small businesses, CBEs, as well as Ward 7 and Ward 8 contractors. I'll turn it over now to Crystal.
Thank you.
The arrow on the right, there you go.
Hi, everybody. I'm Crystal Stowe. I'm with Smoot Gilbane. I want to talk with you a little bit about our workforce progress to date. Currently, 1 in 4 workers on the job site lives in Ward 7 and 8. 1 in 4 workers on our job site live in Ward 7 and 8, and they have worked almost 6,000 hours on the project to advance us to the point of construction that we're at today. And doing the math, that equals about $550,000 in wages paid to the community. That's since August. That's since August. Or October, excuse me, since October. So we're making significant progress, but as you know, we're not satisfied, and I know you're not either. So here's what's coming up. Workforce is expected to increase for the finished trades. As Jaman mentioned, we will be at our heaviest in terms of workforce needs once we get into the finished trades. So think in terms of, we're going to need sprinkler fitters, sheet metal workers, carpenters, drywall installers, folks who lay ceramic tile, carpeting, sheet flooring, and painters, lots of painters. So there are job opportunities to come. Those of you who are interested in those particular trades, make sure you see us afterwards so we can connect you with subcontractors who will be performing those services. We continue to reach out through, of course, the trade unions, but also to a very dedicated core of community-based workforce organizations who have been tremendously helpful in not only identifying individuals to come to work on the project, but also preparing them to be successful on the project. I'm as proud as I can be, if he was my own child. Perry Burmore, Perry, where are you? Would you stand up, please? He is our newest apprentice from Ward 8. Wait a minute, stand up, Perry, stand up. Tell them how new, how new.
For me. I've been able to provide for my family and take care of my son and whatnot. You know, I never received an opportunity like this before, and I am a Ward 8 resident, and I do appreciate everybody, you know, for this opportunity, and you know, it's gonna be plenty of good work from me.
Well, thank you, Perry. I want you to meet some of the other people who are involved in building the project. Okay. Other major trades, masonry and metal panels. So to that list we talked about, please be thinking in terms of folks you know that might be interested in supporting the masonry and metal panel work. All right, tonight we are joined by several businesses that are working on the project. As Daniel mentioned, there are 18 certified business enterprises under contract for this project. Some of them are subcontractors and the rest are vendors. And I just want to see if these folks are in the house. Saxon Collaborative, Ward 8. Hard Light, Don Smith, also from Ward 8. HRGM, Ward 8. P&D Drywall, DC-based business. R&R Mechanical. JPN Masonry. Did I miss anybody? All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's talk about my favorite vendor. He provides the portable toilets on the job site. Gotta go now. Fred, you've been a valuable asset to our project. Stand up, brother. Tell folks about your company and the work that you're performing
Okay.
for us.
We're a 12-year-old company now. Since last January, we've grown to from 8 to 33 full-time employees. We'll be about 50 employees by the spring. And we're on now 6 different Gilbane projects. We're on 17 different major projects across the city. And we provide services from portable restrooms, tables, tennis chairs, our newest services, roll-off dumpsters. We also have storm drain cleaning equipment now, and fencing. Yes, thank you.
So you're growing.
Yes, we are.
You're growing.
In 5 years, we will be a $40 million company.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations. The food tonight, MLK Deli provides the catering services for our job site as well. So we typically only focus on the construction opportunities, but there are business opportunities as well for companies like Fred, who have been in business for a minute, and then for our friends at MLK Deli, who have been in business, I would say, for probably less than a year. So we wish them continued success, and the food is good. All right. Moxie Metals, are you in the house? There you go. We are pleased to announce that not only was our first contract on this project awarded to a Ward 8 business, which is J.J. Prime, but our most recent contract was also awarded to a Ward 8 business, Moxie Metals, Miscellaneous Metals. I know the ink is barely dry on your contract, but why don't you stand and tell us what you're going to be doing?
That's fine. We'll be installing the miscellaneous metals. We'll be doing the fabrication and installing for the, I guess the majority of the facility is not up yet. So we're just glad to have the opportunity to perform.
Thank you. All right, Craig, that concludes our update. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please give Smoot Gilbane and then all the contractors who are here tonight a round of applause. Yes, ma'am. Sure. Yes, so it's outreach as well, but I'll let Crystal address the outreach program that we've done so far.
There are many different ways. There's not one single way for you to access employment opportunities associated with the project. The best way, however, because there is a project labor agreement on this job, is to go through the unions, through union apprenticeships, which can then set you on your path toward a career in construction. But I'm going to ask some of my employers in the room to talk specifically about how they go about recruiting labor. Saxon, Anna, do you want to talk about your efforts to reach out to the community?
We do a lot of events with Gilbane, and I attended the Ward 8 Works. We go to events. All right, I'm coming. I'm standing up. All right, basically we do our recruiting. We do walk-ins. People come fill out applications. We tell people a little bit about what our goals are and we want people to learn the trades, so we want a lot of apprentices, and we send people to school. Like I said, we go to different events to try to recruit, and through DOES as well. That's what we do. We don't really have an online application process because we like to get to know each applicant and have them come in and meet with us and kind of get an idea of what their goals are and let them know a little bit about what we're trying to do while working with the community and such forth. So.
And Damien and Aaron, since you guys are here, do you want to talk about how you got your job?
Which one? Aaron, you want to go first?
Yeah, I go first. I got my job through a relative who already worked with Saxon, but Saxon a real cool company. Some real stuff though. They look out for you. They bless you. That's what they do. That's all I got.
How you doing? I got my job through another company going to school for sheet metal work, and I ended up switching out to Saxon because they was paying more. So, you know, more money, you know.
More money, more money?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you. Sure.
Should I talk a little bit about the, I just wanted to mention that Saxon does, I think he was talking more about the money. Saxon does things a little differently. Some jobs, there's a scale, there's a base rate, and then there's a fringe benefit. There's some companies, like one I used to previously work for, that'll take the fringe benefit and invest it into like a profit sharing or a 401k or some type of plan like that. What Saxon does is they actually pay out the entire benefit, so the employee gets to choose what they do with their own money. So that's what he's talking about right here. So.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Subcontracting and vendor opportunities are advertised through a number of different means. We utilize the Department of Small and Local Business Development to push bid notifications out to the CBE community. Both Smoot and Gilbane collectively as well as separately have their own subcontractor databases of businesses that we've either worked with previously or would like to work with. And those companies typically have been pre-qualified as subcontractors for us, and so we issue notifications directly to them. We also push information out through various trade associations, from the National Association of Minority Contractors to the Hispanic Contractors Association. There's about 10 to 15 community-based organizations that we send the information out to. But frankly, the best way is, if you know us, keep in contact with us. When you know us, keep in contact with us, because we don't always know ahead of time what service we might require. For example, in preparing for the topping out that's coming up in January, there's a whole host of vendors specifically associated with that one event that we didn't know when we started this project that we were going to need those services. So Fred, be on the lookout, brother. We're going to need some extra portable toilets for that event. There are a number of them that specialize. Oh gosh, OIC does aspects of it. The Mayor's Office on Returning Citizens also does aspects of it. There's the charter high school, the community college charter high school that does job preparedness. Gosh, Monica, if I try to think standing here of all of those organizations, the list is long, and I would bore you with it, but I don't believe we have an issue right now with workforce preparedness. There's a strong foundation for that. We just need to make sure that once people get employed, I want to make sure that Aaron and Damien continue working. I want to make sure that Perry continues to have an opportunity, because once this job is finished in September, I don't want them to go back to where they used to be. I want to make sure that there's a path forward for them. And so part of that is helping to make sure that there are continuous opportunities for businesses like Hard Light, like Saxon, like JPN, and all of the other subcontractors who are here tonight, so that they can continue to keep our folks working for a long time to come. Yes, sir.
This is great news. So since you have a great workforce development program, to date, how many people, somebody might have asked this question already, are from Ward 7 and 8 who are working on the site now? You might have already said it, but I might
Okay,
have missed.
let me
I
go
came
back.
late.
Can I go back to that slide?
Late.
Yeah, 1 in 4. There are typically around 60 to 70 workers on the site at any time, and we maintain about 15 to 20 workers from Ward 7 and 8 in any given week.
I'm glad you, I have a disability, so I have to stay seated. I'm glad you went back to that slide. So can you tell us what the total wages were? So of the 550,000, what percentage is that of the total wages paid on the projects? And can you tell us what the total hours are?
I don't have that data with me, but if you will give me your contact information, I'm happy to provide that to you as a follow-up.
Let's do this. I apologize because these are great questions, but we're going to do more Q&A at the end. So we just have one more portion or two more portions of the presentation, but please hold your questions because we want to get to them as well. So this is also a good time because our wonderful, illustrious council member of Ward 8 has joined us. As I've mentioned, that we were excited that he was coming. So I just will take a personal privilege in addition to, or even aside from this project. You know, it is, there's so much happening, and you all know better than me in Ward 8. And so it takes, you know, someone who can live in the moment and deal with the day-to-day growth that's happening so quickly and rapidly, but also, frankly, with the issues that are also occurring while still thinking about the long-term vision of this ward. And I must say, I've been honored to work with Councilmember Trayon White, because he's dealing with a lot on a daily basis, but also looking into the future and think about what this ward requires. And so it's my honor to introduce him. He's going to say a few remarks, but I also want to thank him because part of our process here was also to put together a community benefits agreement. And so thanks to him, we also had an amazing committee that was working on putting all these pieces together, but he also helped us bring everybody together to finalize that agreement. So without further ado, please give the biggest round of applause you can for our Councilmember Ward 8, Trayon White.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm excited to hear what we're doing here in Ward 8 with this new development. One of the things I want to see more Ernst and Damien's come out and be speaking about working in Ward 8. That's very important to me because there are hundreds of them still out in the community trying to find an opportunity. So the more we make it more easier for them, we got to push that even more. So I'm going to give them another round of applause and those who are in the room that's hiring these young people. So one of the things we have been doing was trying to put together a community benefit agreement. If you've been involved in that process, raise your hand. Okay, there you go. I see Monica in the background. I see you. And so we've been trying to figure out a happy medium, and it wasn't easy getting to that point, but I believe that everything rises and falls on leadership. And a project this large in Ward 8, what I don't want to see happen is that we build a stadium, houses, businesses, but the people in Ward 8 are not able to participate, are not able to benefit. There are millions and billions of dollars spent in our ward, and we end up in a worse state than we was before it started. And so I have interjected myself into the process to kind of navigate. And I want to thank Ms. Stowe for her leadership, because we met with them and DSLBD on several occasions to ensure that our business is able to participate. And we're going to be continue to do that, because some people still to today feel left out of the process. And so we're going to keep working at it and digging at it and working at it until everybody's able to participate in this process. And so we've been working on the CBA agreement, and it's signed. You can give a round of applause to that. This finally got signed. I think I went into the office on a Saturday to make sure it was done, because we had, and to be honest, we had one group that was coming to the meetings and participated in the dialogue, and then we had another group that felt like they were left out. And so we met in this room, we brought both of the groups together, right, Fo? And we hashed it out and hashed it out. And now everybody may or may not have been happy, but we made sure that each and every person has some input in what we want to see happen. And it's not going to be our only community benefit agreement. We have others coming up we would love for the community to participate in. And I'm happy as a leader to involve people who care, who have business acumen, who care about the community, do workforce, do all types of things to participate, because there's enough for everyone. So I'm happy to be here tonight. Sorry for being late. We had a meeting at Savoy with the Chancellor about education, and that's dear to me as well. So I look forward to the dialogue and the meeting. I'm here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Councilmember. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Oh, one last thing. We are getting a new basketball team. I will be trying out. No, I'm just joking. Capital City Go-Go's, on which they talk about coming out. You can give a round of applause to that, to the G League, not the D League, but the G League, huh, Mr. Bo? All right. So I look forward to that coming to Ward 8. I will be attending the game and trying to see what's going on. And we would like to see some guys from the Berry Farms League try out for the team. I've been lobbying for that. We have a lot of talent in Washington, D.C. we'd like to see showcased in this league. Thank you.
Yep. So we wanted to talk about it first tonight, and after that, we'll send it out to the public for everybody to see. Okay? Please give another round of applause for our council member for his leadership. So I also would like to introduce and welcome someone who's no stranger to all of us. She actually, in her various roles as leadership as an ANC chair, she also took on the leadership of being one of the co-chairs for the committee that helped put together CBA. So she's done a lot for Ward 8. She's certainly done a lot for this project. We're very appreciative. So please welcome some remarks from Ms. Mary Cuthbert.
Good evening. I welcome you all. This is an exciting moment for many of us in Ward 8 to have an arena where our young people can go and see entertainment without going west of the river. You're right here at your home. You can stroll down the street with your friends and stroll back home. You don't have to drive. That's why I'm excited. It's not for me. I had my heyday. I'm looking for the young people. This community benefit package, we worked on it for almost a year, I believe. We recruited 28 Ward 8 organizations who agreed to designate a representative and an alternate, with over 3,000 individuals participating by attending the meeting or completing online in-person or an in-person survey. Establish 6 interest-based subcommittees. Now, I want you to listen to the committee. Many of you have been to all of the meetings. Youth engagement, small business development, workforce and education, seniors, my specialty, art and culture, community preservation. The CBA results in Event DC will provide support for the next 19 years. Now, I'm saying this 19 years. Now, there's no guarantee I'm going to be around the next 19 years. So you all who are 40 and 35, remember the next 19 years. So you'll have to do the fighting rather than me. For education, small business development, and community initiative. This is important to our ward. This is the first community benefit package. It's not perfect, because the first one is never perfect. But there's more to come. Whenever we have development coming in our ward, we are to get a benefit package to benefit the organizations that are here and that are serving the people. Why? It's so hard to raise money. It's really hard trying to raise money when we have a limited amount of business. So I'm asking all of you who are here and you're involved in an organization, make sure it's a 501c3 so you can receive whenever we have development. We have a lot of development coming here. We have 2 new buildings coming on Howard Road, one on the south side, one on the north side. And we need a community benefit package. And I thank you all for coming and supporting this project, because I'm gonna sit on my porch and watch all the young people walk down the street like I used to 50 years ago. Thank you.
At this time, we want to preview and summarize what the actual community benefits agreement was. I'm going to ask Monica Ray to come up and do that. She has her own mic. While she's doing that, I just want to acknowledge our ANC leadership. Sharice Crawford's here. Please give her a round of applause as well for being here. Monica, if you would, I assume as part of your remarks, if you'll also acknowledge all the 6 committee chairs as well, and Cora Masters-Berry. How can I not mention Cora as being here? Please give her a round of applause for being here as well. But if you also recognize the committee chairs, if they could stand and be recognized as part of that, would be great. Thank you.
I'll start with the committee chairs. The committee was co-chaired by the 2 affected ANCs, 8E, Mr. Anthony Muhammad, who is not here yet. I don't think I've seen him. And of course, Ms. Cuthbert from 8C. The 6 subcommittees were led Arts and Culture. Tindani Mpulabusi is here. He was joined by Kiana Jones. Community Preservation, Ms. Sandra Seegers. Small Business Development, Wendell Kwan, who leads Destination Congress Heights. Youth Activities, Ms. Cora Masters-Berry. And final was Workforce and Education, who was co-chaired by Alexis Roberson and Connie Spinner. And seniors, Mr. Golford Bobo, who I don't see here yet either. They are to be commended. Spend about a year of their life meeting monthly, hosting committee meetings, running around getting surveys. Ms. Berry was in surgery and still made time to commit to this process. So I appreciate the 10 of you for working through this process. So you'll see that the CBA was divided over 3 big interest areas: educational, small business development, and community initiatives. As Ms. Cuthbert has said, the CBA term actually mirrors the lease term with Monumental Sports of 19 years. In addition to those 3 categories, the CBA also lines out a governance structure by which the CBA is implemented and monitored and enforced in the future. Ms. Cuthbert has mentioned, went out and made a list of 28 community organizations, each of them committed to identifying 1 designee and 1 alternate who'd be in this process to discuss, recruit from their neighbors, and provide input to the CBA. And it's resulted in more than $1 million of support to this community. Under educational support, $60,000 per year for scholarships, $25,000 per year for youth development activities. Under small business support, Gilbane and Smoot Gilbane has agreed to waive bonding for all small contractors under $100,000, and then creating opportunities for Ward 8 vendors for food and beverage vending once the building is up. Community initiatives, $60,000 per year for the following 4 activities for the MLK Holiday Parade. Don't shout, Stu, where is he? Shoot Hoops, Not Bullets basketball tournament, Congress Heights Day, and the Anna Costa Coordinating Council. And those are the three big categories and the detail that came in for each of the CBA components.
So thank you, Monica. As you can see, obviously we think a lot of great benefits, but as the council member said, this is the first CBA agreement that's related to this project. There's going to be other CBA agreements as other development occurs around the Congress Heights neighborhood. The other thing I want to mention, and he's here today and he's been waiting patiently, is that our great partner, Monumental Sports, is also going to be making some investments in the community. Now, investments will come in two fashions. They're also going to bring some businesses and opportunities and other things on this campus that the community will directly benefit from, and there will also be some community investment. So without further ado, I'm talking very slow because he's keying up his presentation over there. We'll quickly change slides. But Randy Bowe has been a great partner to us. He's been with Monumental Sports and really is involved in all aspects of their business. And so as you recall, they're not only going to have the Wizards being the training facility, but they're also going to have the Mystics play, and now their new G League team is going to play here as well, in addition to how they want to be involved in the community. So without further ado, please give a big round of applause for Randy Bowe.
Thank you. So I'm very pleased to be here again tonight, and we're very, very excited about this facility and what we're doing over here in Ward 8, and to see everything that is happening here in Ward 8. It's been mentioned we announced the name of our NBA Development League team, G League team, and that's going to be the Capital City Go-Go. And they're going to play here. It's a 50-game season, and they'll start in November of 2018. So we're excited about that. We're excited to bring the Mystics here. And of course, this is going to be the training facility for the Wizards. And we're all very excited about coming here east of the river to do all that. So as has been mentioned, when we signed this deal, we agreed to invest $10 million in Ward 8 over the 19-year life of the deal. And so we've started doing that. And we've started small, but I think we've done some significant things, and we're looking to expand that in the coming years. Oops. Oh, it's the right arrow. So we're doing most of it through the Monumental Sports and Entertainment Foundation. That's our charitable arm. We try to organize our activities around these 5 categories: youth sports, military and veterans affairs, education and scholarship, hunger and homelessness, and pediatric health and fitness. We've already this year, in 2017, raised $1.5 million for the foundation, distributed $865,000. Of that, about $480,000 has already gone to Ward 8 organizations and activities. We've donated $725,000 of tickets as well. So one of the things we've done, we adopted Henley Elementary. We did a backpack drive. We provided school supplies for every kid in the school. We updated their STEM lab. And then we built a new basketball court for them in conjunction with the WNBA, and had a great event dedicating that a couple of weeks ago. We helped fund Kaboom builds playgrounds all over the city and here in Ward 8 as well. We funded their 3,000th playground, which was down at the Arc. And then we have donated $30,000 already to Martha's Table So Kids Can program. We also help fund the joyful food markets that appear here in Ward 8. So those are some of the things we're doing, and we're looking to do more. And these are just some pictures from some of the events. That top left one is the playground, the basketball court at Henley. And we brought the Mystics players out and conducted a clinic, and it was a great day. Another important initiative is the District of Columbia College Access Program. So there was something called the College Success Foundation that was funded by the Gates Foundation. And about 90% of the scholarships they awarded came to Ward 7 and 8. But the Gates Foundation is phasing out their funding for that. So the District of Columbia College Access Program is stepping up to take its place. We've created a fund for Ward 7 and 8 scholarships. We've gotten $7 million from the Gates Foundation, and it's going to be matched by a $7 million donation. And Monumental Sports is doing $1 million of that. So that's, I think, an important project. We're excited. We're working with Councilmember White on a number of projects, recreation facilities, and programming so that kids have activities after school. And then this is something I wanted to talk about briefly. It's an idea that has come to us, and we're kind of excited about it. The Smithsonian Museum of American History has something called a Spark Lab in the basement. My kids are too old, so I haven't seen it until recently. But what it is, it's a hands-on program to teach kids about technology, engineering, entrepreneurship, and inventions. And it's incredibly popular. They have a number of them all over the country in different locations. And we're in conversations with them to bring one here to the St. E's campus. And what we'd like to do, and they're very excited about doing it, what we'd like to do is put this on the campus here and then build out an additional STEM or STEAM, if you had arts, into the curriculum so that we can do that. And one of the things we've seen, the San Francisco 49ers started a program where they do a STEAM program, and they try to make it sports related. So you're learning about science and technology and engineering and math, but it's kind of got a sports focus to it, and it's actually done at their stadium. It's incredibly popular. They've got great success. And so we're very interested in building a program like that over here in conjunction with some of the schools. So I know most schools have STEM programs, but we're looking to provide additional resources and maybe after-school facilities and programs. So those are some of the things, I think that's, yeah, so those are some of the things that we've done already. We're going to be here for a long time, and we're looking to get ourselves even more involved in the community, and looking forward to talking to more of you and taking your questions. So thank you very much.
So that actually concludes. I know we had a couple slides. Quickly, we can go through some upcoming events, but we can do that, frankly, at the very end. I see Chinyeti motioning to make sure I'm staying on message. But what's more important now is, frankly, we actually take some time to hear questions. And so, obviously, anyone who spoke tonight certainly is prepared, also as well as the rest of our team, to answer any questions that you have. But we want us to be dialogue and hear from you all. I will say the piece that we started doing some Q&A about the job opportunities and the business opportunities, I think you heard from Crystal, and you'll hear from us, and you'll hear from me personally. Those are some good numbers, but we're not satisfied. So we want more participation for both the existing, or at least what's remaining in terms of construction on the job, and also the specific work opportunities as well. So Crystal is here, our team is here, so afterwards, I'm begging you, please come see her if you want to make sure you stay connected and figure out what other opportunities remain on this job. And it's important to us. You heard the council member. It's important. And what's also important that Crystal alluded to is that this sets the tone for all the other opportunities on this campus. And so when we build other things here, we want those contractors to grow. You heard the gentleman talk about becoming a $40 million business here in Ward 8. That's what we want. Those are the stories we want, but you can't do it unless we have more opportunities. And so we want to make sure that we start somewhere, and this project is as good as any, and that we find other opportunities. But please, I'm asking, after this meeting, come see Crystal or see any of our team to find out the next opportunity or the outreach for these jobs or specific workforce opportunities. So with that, I'm going to sit down, allow you to ask questions. If you raise your hand, Monica will bring the mic to you for questions.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Gibbs Phillips, AKA Mother Love. As of December 7th, I'm out of the closet as the co-founder of the Washington School for Girls. The name was changed, but the history is still there. A young man that I encountered at Peaceaholics when I was a gang intervention specialist approached me about a month ago and asked if I would give him some guidance in starting his own solar panel business. Mother Love doesn't know anything about solar panels, but as an educator, I always know where to go. I reached out to a young lady whom I met when I was the academic dean for AYT Automotive Institute. And attended all of the meetings that were held in Ward 8, and I was looking forward to some of my young people at AYT participating in the process so that we could get some of the money. However, I don't work for them anymore, and I was just wondering how I would go about getting some guidance in assisting this young man. And I want him to stand up because I'm so proud of him that he would ask an OG like me to assist him in navigating through the process.
In a separate capacity, I wanted to say that Quan is in the back, but the CDC provides free small business technical assistance to any business in Ward 8 who's looking to establish, find space, get incorporated, creative businesses across the gamut. So I would encourage you to have the young man see Wendell Quan in the back, and we can get him incorporated in about 3 days.
Thank you, Mike.
Question on this side?
Thank you. My question is regarding who is responsible for the monitoring and evaluation of the community initiative goals. So what I mean, for example, how many grants are distributed to date over the life of the 19-year agreement. So you had a lot of great statistics up there as to the progress that you've made so far, but who would we go to as community members to make sure that those grants are being distributed over time?
I guess I can take this one as well, guys. There is a 13-member, what's called the Community Benefit Coalition Implementation Committee, that's comprised of positions, not people. So it starts with the 2 chairs of the 2 impacted ANC. Ms. Cuthbert's been around a really long time, and she doesn't seem to be dying anytime soon. But she has one of those seats. The ANC commissioner for the area, which currently is Ms. Sharice Crawford. There are 2 youth members. There are 2 senior members. There's a designation from the council member's office. And a faith-based member. Yep. Thank you. So there's 13 of them. The plan, oh yes, and 1 person from the Far Southeast Family Strengthening Collaborative. Totals 13. The intent would be to gather that group together with the committee, the founding committee, to establish those rules and regulations, how they move forward in January.
And we thank you for the question. We'll put the community benefits agreement on our website, ESA on the Rise, after this meeting. So tomorrow we'll post it so you won't have to take all these copious notes. Yes, we certainly can do that.
Hi, my name's Emily. I live on the 1100 block of Alabama Avenue. And I think I just have, it may just be jumping the gun, but I have a question about the construction and the no parking signs that have been up for like 2 months and are up through, I think, the end of January. But there doesn't appear to be construction or anything happening every day, and it just seems to be a big inconvenience. And if it's really going to take that long, and then secondary, there used to be this great walking path just out here that connected this building to Alabama, and if that path was going to reopen anytime soon.
I can answer that question. I'm Ed Fisher, the Executive Director for St. Elizabeth's East and DEMPED. I'll answer your second question first. Unfortunately, no, that walking path is not coming back. Where the path currently is, that area is under construction, but that is where the townhomes that are coming to the campus are going to be located. But what you will see is once the new roads are done, there will be new sidewalks, new streets that allow you to come through the campus much easier and faster than what the path previously did. So that's not coming back, but these streets will be open. There'll be public streets that will be served by DDOT and DPW. That'll be late August of next year when all the streets are done. right around the same time that the arena is going to open. Your first question about the parking signs, I can check with Gilbane, our infrastructure team, but I think what normally happens is we get those no parking signs for a period of 30 days, I believe, and so they keep them up so that they can do the work that's needed to be done. A lot of work is being done right there at 12th Street. As you may or may not know, 12th Street will soon open and come into the campus. I'm looking at my construction manager back here, Vanessa, and we don't have the exact date for when that will be open, but yeah, and we'll be able to update you on our construction milestones for the infrastructure. What was supposed to happen tonight was our quarterly St. Elizabeth East Advisory Board, but we rescheduled it so that we could have this meeting here tonight. And we'll be posting those dates on our website, stelizabetheast.com. The 2017 dates are up, and we're going to be soon providing you with the 2018 dates. But we can get back to you before we leave. Vanessa and I can look into your first question about the 11th Street no parking signs.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. My name, I think everybody knows, my name is Mr. Stevenson. I run the Truckers and Contractors Association. I met with Mrs. Snowden first Friday down in Marshall Heights, and she gave me a lot of information, and most of the business people didn't even know it, and I told her I would relate everything that went on at the meeting. I got a tape of it if anybody wants, I'll send you a copy of it. But they have things out there for you guys that will pay for your labor. You can get labor tech support free from the city. They'll pay for it up to 6 months. They also have funds for grants, loans for small businesses. Mr. Guilford was at one of our meetings. He's one of the used construction companies. He does things internationally. I spoke to him, and I asked him, would he team up with us? He said he would team up with us so that all of us, we wouldn't have any problems with anything. Long as he deal with big things. Anything $15 million and above, he'll help us with. I ran this by Mrs. Snowden. In order for us to get the contracts that we're not getting, and the money that we're not getting. I'm supposed to be on a contract over there off of East Capitol Street. We worked on that project for a long time. The contractor got the job. We weren't involved in anything, never called us for anything after all those meetings and what have you. So he called me over there after I called him and complained. Then what he wants me to do is work for nothing. We have roll-off dumpsters we have to dump. You know what a roll-off dumpster costs. He wants me to haul them for $50. That's the way they get rid of all of us. I said, what happened to he said, we got a CB. I said, what about the local? What happened to the LSDBE? We don't hear about them anymore. Those are us. We're the local, small, disadvantaged business. I hear everybody talking CB. What about us? And just like Mr. Guilford told me, he said, Rick, since Mr. Berry's gone, everybody ain't scared of nobody no more. Mr. Berry was here, everybody was scared. They wouldn't try to rob us like that. He canceled the contract. What I'm saying to everybody right now is that if you guys want to come to Marshall Heights on the first Friday of every month. Last day, the Department of Transportation person was there. They told us all about the grants. They had the other council member there, Gray was there. Ms. Snowden was there. The mayor came there. So they got the big sticks over there. And what I'm saying to everybody right now, I'm getting with Mr. Guilford, construction. He will hire everybody over here in this office right now who's a CBE. I mean, LSDBE. I'm getting away from the CBEs. Local, small, disadvantaged business. The CBEs aren't us. CBEs are big boys. Then they got to be required to deal with us. I want to go back to the time where we get, like when Berry was here, we got the jobs, then we got them to come in. We don't get screwed. This project right here is pretty good. I've talked to Brandon Storm. Brandon, worked with Brandon pretty good. And I think it's some opportunities for everybody on this project. We all stick together. Trayvon, I stopped down at your office looking for him. I talked to his people, and I think everybody's on board. I talked to Marshall Heights. I'm going to everybody over this place. I'm going to make sure. I live on Good Hope Road, and every time I come out the street, like today, I had to give a little young lady didn't have any money. I had to give her some money because, you know, she said she lost this. She was looking for a job. So I said, well, we're going to have some jobs coming around pretty soon. Because all these people around here are not derelicts. They've lost them. Things happen.
Right.
Okay, I got to go. I'm
okay.
sorry.
No, that's
but
okay.
I'm just saying.
That's okay.
Right, I'm just saying, everybody get the information. My name, I'll meet y'all after that. Mr. Stevenson, get all the information. Like the Deputy Mayor said, we don't have it. Everybody else has it. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. We appreciate that.
How you all doing? My name is Ayanna Ford, and I wanted to ask, we are doing a lot of talking about the community benefits agreement, and I just want to ask the room, who's familiar with community benefits agreements before this conversation today? Okay, so from the lack of hands that just went up, my question is, you mentioned how many opportunities are going to be coming forward with a CBA. Because I am privileged to know how CBAs work, this one is done and over with. But what you see is even the stakeholders who come in this room, they don't know how CBAs work. So what is the commitment from big business up here and big money honeys to really make sure that the folks who have the seat at the table actually know what they're talking about and actually know what's at stake? Because the reality is that the community benefits agreement we received was pennies on the dollar based on what you really could have done. And based on the presentation about the MSE Foundation, you're actually going to get tax rebates on things you haven't even done for us yet. And really, Henley, compared to all the schools we have in this ward, is really just really insulting compared to the need. And so I see what we talked about, right? But there was a lot of what we didn't say in this presentation. So my two questions are, can we see this presentation again with the numbers including, we may have gotten $550,000 for Ward 8 residents, but what was given to Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia? Were these people paying a living wage? How many individuals were splitting this, you know, $550,000, given how many millions of dollars have gone into this project? And then again, when we talk about this community benefits agreement, what is the commitment? Councilmember White has already been doing trainings. I know what he's doing. But what is the commitment from you all with your lawyers and your councils and your team to ensure that the community stakeholders are at the table, not on the menu? Because this CBA is honestly, from someone who's been doing this for years, insulting. And I just want to be clear that we all walk away knowing that and are clear that in the opportunities to come, we can do so much better.
Thank you for your comments.
Also, I want to see the list of 28 organizations that was reached out to, because
sure.
that will work well.
Sure,
too.
no, let her finish. So thank you. I'll address. So thank you for your comments. A couple things I want to address. So yeah, this process, and unfortunately there may have been a lack of, or only a few hands that were raised here, but this process, as was mentioned, went on for a year. And we actually had members of the community for 6 different committee chairs that actually chaired and invited anybody to come to those meetings. Oh, we did. So it's just a point of fact that we did. We can show that presentation as well that showed where we had communication and had people actually participate. But having said that, nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. I will concede that. I've always said that. We tried the best we could with what we had. I should also clarify that we're not big business. We're actually a quasi-governmental agency. And so we actually aren't a private developer that's required to do a CBA, but we did a CBA anyway. Just to be clear about that. So you can look our charter. Events DC is a convention and sports authority, which is an independent authority of the District of Columbia. We are part of the government. We just happen to be a quasi-government agency. So I just want to be... I'm not part of Marriott either. I'm not part of Marriott either, just to be clear. No, but your statement's incorrect. I'm going to speak to facts. I'm happy to provide it. And to the question that you asked, we will put the CBA agreement on our website. We'll be transparent, and you can see it, and for all its glory. And we've been transparent in this process, and we'll share it, and we'll answer any questions that you have. And so we mentioned that as one opportunity. Monumental Sports doesn't have to do a CBA, but they're going to do community investment, which is what they reference. And so it's the best opportunity for us to move forward, but there'll be other developments on this project, on this community, on this site. And so we'll try to get everybody in the table. We'll do outreach as best we can for everybody to participate in that process.
Check. Also, I would like to say I don't know if we sent out an email last Friday or will be coming out this week to those who participated to reconvene, because we do have to sharpen up and find some common ground in the community benefit agreement so we can move forward with other projects as well. I know I talked to my chief of staff about doing that last Friday. If she haven't done that, I'll talk to her about it tomorrow so we can get back together to continue that as well. So I think Ms. Ford, your name is on the email, so we'll be getting that back out to the community.
Ms. Crawford.
I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to speak as an LSDBE in the community that, well, there's so many great resources out there. One of them is the Small Business Development Center that really helps. Also, the Department of Small Business, they give great advice, free labor advice. We're at JPN Masonry. We've done a lot of work with Gilbane. I can tell you they really enforce, what they're saying about hiring small and local businesses. We all enter a first choice agreement and we stick to that. We hire, I think we try and hire at least 51%, from the Department of Employment Services for an apprenticeship program. So we definitely, they definitely stick to that, and we definitely try to do our part as a small business. But as just a small business, I just want to say that we found that they've actually been one of the companies I found that have been most honest and most transparent in doing exactly what they say to do. So just wanted to say that.
Good evening, everyone. My name is R.I.S.E Crawford. I am the current sitting advisory neighborhood commissioner for the St. Elizabeth campus, and the Monumental Sports is in my single-member district. I first want to thank you guys again for showing up, taking the heat, right? Because I think we've been bringing the heat a little bit just because it's a big thing that's happening, and it's shaking up a lot of what we know our community to be. So thank you guys for hosting this panel. I want to thank, just real quick, the members that worked on the CBA prior to us coming on board. If you could just stand up real quick. I just want you guys, please just stand up. Come, please. Please, because it's important to recognize them. I want to recognize these individuals. Mother Cuthbert, please. Please stand. I want to just thank you guys for working on the CBA. As Ms. Ford pointed out, I think that none of us really had the prior experience of what it meant to work on the CBA and what does that really look like and kind of what we can compare it to. And secondly, I know that it might have been a challenge, so thank you for stepping up to the challenge. And thank you for allowing us to have a seat at the table. I want to acknowledge Ms. Brenda, Ms. Fo Palmer. I know if anybody else ended up coming in on board where we kind of put the call out last, if you could just, Ms. Ford, Mr. Daly in the back, a few people that I see. I want to just thank you guys. If you could stand up, please, Ms. Fo Palmer, Ms. Brenda Jones, please stand up, guys. Give them a round of applause. I wanted to really point out that, I gave them, I brought this concern to the table and I gave them open range to implement their feedback, so it wasn't coming from me, that it was coming from the community. And Ms. Fo's input was significant. We got youth council on board, we got the commission on board. So I just want to let you know that as a member of the implementation committee, what I'm hoping to do is putting more of you guys, or having more of you guys at the seat of the table for implementing the process. Okay, and I want to thank you guys for setting it up. Councilmember White was the bridge that helped connect us all together, and also kind of giving the final word on the CBA. And so with that, I trust that it came out to be a robust document. And again, you guys are welcome to have a seat at the table. St. Elizabeth is just getting started. How many of you guys live here? If you could just stand up, raise your hands. Thank you, I'm getting beat up in the front. But no, I really want to point this out. If you guys are residents in this community and you want to work on this process, again, this is only phase one, only a portion of phase one, and we need you guys at the table. right? I need you guys at the table. I need your input. I need your insight. So if you guys have questions and want to be involved in the implementation process and want to be involved in additional committee, please contact us after the meeting, contact me after the meeting, and we'd be happy to work with you all, because we're a community and we're a family, and we're building this together. So thank you all again for your time.
Thank you so much for your comments, Ms. Crawford. All right, we said we're going to close at 8. If there's one more question, a burning desire, we'll take one more.
All right, great. So on the CBA, I just want to point out the Walmart experience and ask what the, and again, I went to Anacostia High School. I'm from here. I have kind of a disability, so I kind of have to stay seated. I apologize.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Please, let him speak. Let him speak. Let him speak.
I'm just curious, given the Walmart experience, what the penalties are that are embedded in the CBA. Certainly think it's a great process. Thank you, Councilmember White. It's like herding cats. I understand that. You know, the other thing is, the young lady, when she talks about the dollar amounts that are involved, that's why I asked the question about what the total wages were as opposed to the $550,000. She is absolutely right. My back of the envelope calculations would lead me to believe that the total wages were probably about $5–10 million or so, depending upon wage rates. So we certainly need that information. We need more analysis. And also, I'd like to know what the penalties are for non-compliance and non-performance with respect to the CBA. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you for your comments. I'll first start with your comment about Walmart. You know, this is two things. I'll reiterate the point, and I should do it in an objective fashion. You know, we are a quasi-government agency, and we're not required to do a CBA agreement in the first place. Like, I want to be clear about that, but we felt like it was the right thing to do to make this investment since we're investing in this project. But we feel like this project is going to be a catalyst to drive development there. So I'm not a developer. We're not making profit on this at all. In fact, we'll probably lose money operating these facilities for quite some time. But that's okay. That's our job. That's what we're supposed to do. As it relates to the CBA, there's no specific penalties that are articulated. But having said that, as a quasi-government agency, we are required, if we sign an agreement, to live up to that agreement. And so that agreement lives beyond me. It's something that our board will actually approve. And so once it's approved, that committee can then come before our organization and make sure that it is required. But the first guard for all this was the implementation committee. I will say, to the young lady's point about CBA, she's actually absolutely right. There's a lot of CBAs that get negotiated and people don't know what they are. And one of the things that we were very intentional about was putting an implementation committee in that agreement. It does not happen a lot because these agreements get signed and then nothing happens. Nobody enforces it. The first year you may see grants come out, but then no one knows what's happening after the fact. So we actually put that implementation committee in there to make sure that somebody would hold us accountable and make sure that there are actually going to be deliverables every year for the next 19 years. And so we'll post that on there, but I think her point is a good one. I know I responded to some of her points, but if we need to talk about training people on the CBA for the next one, then we need to do that. So your point is well taken that you articulated that, but to your point specific about penalties, there are not, but there's an implementation committee that will make sure that you can hold our organization accountable, and that's the whole reason why we structured it that way. So I will end on that. I'm not going anywhere. Crystal's not going anywhere. A lot of our team's not going anywhere. So if you have questions or want to continue some of this dialogue, please come see us. If not, there's still food there from MLK Deli as well. I should also note, what's that? Oh, Ms. Berry wants to say something. I cannot refuse Ms. Berry wanting to say something. So before we do, we'll have a couple announcements after that.
Hi. Okay, do I have to stand up, Mary? No, you can sit down. Oh, thank you so much. I just want to thank everybody for going through this process. I want to say to the young lady in the back that there were a lot of hardworking, dedicated people for over a year that worked with this. We were intelligent, we were well informed, and that we didn't know, we researched, and we looked out for the community, every aspect of the community. So now that we are where we are, I think we should move forward and have a positive attitude. And if for whatever reason you did not participate in the one that we just had, there are going to be other ones. But do not denigrate people and say that they didn't know what they were doing or that they had bad intentions. I was insulted by that. And so I just want to say we don't need to do that. We have a good community. We work together. I think all of what you guys have done, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go to the basketball game. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ray. So a couple of quick announcements. I'll direct you to the screen. We have Cozy Christmas coming up. We'll see the date on December 21st. And then quickly, next slide. As I mentioned, we'll have our topping out ceremony on January 11th. So we'll make sure that we message and outreach to the community to hope that you actually come to both events. I know Philip had one announcement. If we could get him a microphone, please. No, oh Lord, let Philip do his thing. Then I promise we'll be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him some love.
Good evening, everyone. As we go into the holiday spirit, one of the musical celebrations throughout the world is the performance of Handel's The Messiah. And here in the District of Columbia, it is performed every year with great fanfare at the Kennedy Center. Well, this year, there will be a live performance of The Messiah in Anacostia. And it's going to be next Sunday at St. Philip's Church. That's at 14th and V Southeast. And the Anacostia Coordinating Council is working with other organizations to provide a free community dinner after the performance. As a matter of fact, Fred Hill and Gotta Go Now just signed up to be one of the sponsors. And the price is right, it's free. And so you have an opportunity to actually experience the performance of one of the world's greatest pieces of music, done mostly by a chamber music of African Americans. So I hope to see you next Sunday so that we can all join in singing the Hallelujah Chorus. Thank you.
Hello? Yeah, real quick. What you got? What you got, Stu? You got an announcement. Come on up, Stu. Stuart Anderson. Hold on, Stu. You're not ready. I said, come on up. I didn't say stop speaking. No. Real quick, we put out a call to help some of the needy. It's kids in the ward with around Christmas time, around the holiday season. And we put out a call. We figured we was going to get about 2,000 kids to sign up. But in return, we got 8,400 kids signed up. And so we're looking for support from businesses in the community that's benefiting from the development going on in the community, contribute and give back. It's taking place on the 19th of this month. We plan on doing it at Malcolm X Opportunity Center on Alabama Avenue. We don't know if that space is going to fit, so we're trying to work that out now. But definitely we're looking for support to support our kids on this holiday season. I know it's really not about gifts, but they care about it a lot. We want to show love and appreciation to the residents in the ward. 8,400 kids have signed up. In one day, we had to cut the list off and we're still getting calls. So if you can support that, you can see Saray again. Raise your hand, Saray. See Saray again. Yeah, and we'll work it out. Stuart Anderson.
Downtown Anacostia and march up into Bright Farms. You want to know more about it, you can see me. I'm going to be in the back for a minute. I need to tell y'all, put the handcuffs on them. I got to talk to them after I talk to the people. But y'all come get a flyer from me, and I'll explain the questions y'all got.
Last but not least, y'all, I don't know if you got a newsletter from A.R.I.S.E Culture, but we recently put out information from DGS, which is a call for artists for over 30 commissions dealing with 4 public school beautifications. If you are a public artist, I know a lot of artists who do a lot of art gallery showings, which I don't do. I do a lot of contracting. But these commissions are anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 to $50,000 for 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional work. I've completed multiple projects with DGS in 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional work. These are real opportunities. So if you are an artist and you really want to get into the game, please respond to that call from artists from Department of General Services. And last but not least, we have just opened up a pop-up shop in LaFont Plaza Shopping Mall, and we are accepting products from local vendors, and it is a lot of traffic, and it is doing well. So if you are a local maker and you would like your products to be in a nice shop, let us know. You can email info@creativecapacity.com. Peace.
Thanks, Tindani. All right. I know we started something. One more, sir. Come on, come on up.
Hello, everybody. How you doing tonight? Since we're in the festive season, I was going to have the Temptation, the Four Tops with me tonight, but they will be on the 24th, the Brighter Day Ministry at 421 Alabama Avenue, Congress Heights site. We'll have our first Motown in Congress Heights. We have our Motown Christmas. We invite you all to come. And I just want to quickly just introduce the newest, one of our youngest pastor, Pastor Tommy Murray. He is now the pastor of Brighter Day Ministry. So basically, this is his man-child that we're going to have Motown Christmas on the 24th of December at 4 o'clock at Congress Heights campus.
All right.
And we'll get the flyers out.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Happy holidays, everybody. Be safe. God bless you. Thank you for coming out tonight. Appreciate you.